This is Jerry Mason, the Kickin Lawyer, and I'm inviting everyone to join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on the Kickin Lawyer fan page on Facebook for Law Talk Live, where we discuss business, politics, current events, and the law. If you miss the live version, you can watch the playback on YouTube or listen on your favorite podcast platform. Jerry Mason, the Kickin Lawyer, and we're at another Law Talk. This one is not live, but which is actually weird to me. I'm used to it being live. But I do want to thank everybody that's watching. We're doing this to help promote the Downtown Covington Music Series that's going to start May 21st on the Square and at Liberty Vintage Marketplace in Covington. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, follow our content. We're available on all podcast platforms. We're also on TikTok. Do want to remind you that the Covington Comic Con is coming back August 20th and 21st. And we got the right date on there. That's good, Josh. And anyway, that's going to be here in Covington at the Civic Center. If you're interested in being a vendor, a sponsor, or tickets, just shoot us a message. You can go to covingtoncomiccon.com for info. And then Mason's High Octane Martial Arts. We've been doing martial arts since 1993 in Covington. If you're interested in any training, you can come see us. And you've got Michelle Allen. We missed Michelle Allen on there, Josh.
Oh, we can go back there.
Oh, okay. She's the important one.
Do the Cellar.
All right, the Cellar, located in Covington, downtown Covington. It's a restaurant prohibition bar just down the street, or actually between where this music series is going to be. So if you go check out the music series, you could always check out the Cellar. And our favorite sponsor, Michelle Allen with Cry Like Realtors. Every episode I talk about her more than I should because of my mic stands. And anyway, if you're buying, selling, renting real estate, she's your go-to for that. And then we got, of course, Josh, Masonite Digital Marketing. If you need internet, social media marketing, anything like that, you can give him a holler. Joining me today is Mr. Gary Stubblefield, which I have known for a long time. He was the father of some local people, I say kids, they're my age, that I've known. And he is in the band, New Generation Band. And which day are y'all performing in the series?
You would ask me that, wouldn't you? It's,
Josh can probably pull it up while we're waiting.
There's
a schedule, Josh. If you go to, I know it's on Ed's page.
It's the first September, first Saturday in June.
Okay.
And then
that's the 4th.
Okay.
I know
and
it's
then
June 4th.
The 18th we skip a week, and then it's the next we're at Liberty Vintage.
Mm-hmm.
First one we're at the Court Square. I mean on the courthouse lawn there.
Yes, sir.
And then the second would be 2 weeks after that at Liberty Vintage, down there from 7 to 10.
Yeah, because
Here's the schedule.
Oh, cool. And we can add that in so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Pull it back up, Josh, so I can see it real quick. So let's see. 5th Degree Band is May 21st. That's next weekend. That's 4 to 7 Courthouse Lawn, and then Liberty Vintage Stage will be from 7 to 10. And for those of you that are looking at this, so one more time, Josh, so I can see it.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
For those of you looking at this schedule, we'll post this throughout. This is going through July, so it's several weeks where you can come. It costs nothing. To the first portion is the courthouse lawn. You can bring a chair and enjoy the music from 4 to 7. And then they have an evening immediately after that. Liberty Vintage Stage will have other bands. So it's a really good opportunity for a night of music in Covington. And there are other businesses like the Cellar and some surrounding businesses that'll be open that you can check out while you're on the Covington Square. But it's free. We got tons of sponsors, which we'll talk about too at some point. But I do hope you guys will come check them out. And there's something for everybody. So, for instance, it's got New Generation Band there. That's June 4th at 4 to 7. And then just like he said, then it's got you guys June 18th from 7 to 10. So you got 2 options to see them. So tell me, Mr. Gary, tell me a little bit about New Generations Band, what kind of music it is, who's in it, that kind of stuff.
Well, let's see. We play a variety of music. We play some country, and we play a little bit of blues and some soul type music. We play a few instrumentals, and let's see, it's 4 of us. It's Bobby Butner plays lead guitar, and he's from Ripley, and then we have a keyboard player from south end of county. His Dave Stevens. We call him 3D. The reason for that is because on his webpage he's got Dave, and that's his call, and that's because he would say something and people would go, Dave, like that.
He's
and
Dave
so
cubed.
It became 3D, and then we have Jim Adams going to play the bass for us. He plays with other groups as well, but we're just kind of getting back together. Played with a guitar player from here in town that he and I played together for 25 years, I guess. And then he decided he wanted to quit for a while, so he quit. And then a week later, my bass player quit. So anyway, then we're trying to reform, and it's just taking a little time, but it's coming together though. It's a lot of fun. You have to have a certain amount of commitment to it, or you wouldn't. You get knocked down, get right back up, and do it again. It's just, but it's all worth it because, this year will be 59 years I've been playing. So
I knew you had been, so I don't know how old you are, but and I know that
I'm 12.
I know that probably to you I'm a kid, but I remember you as a kid. I remember you playing music because, like I said, with Jim, I was married to Sarah, and so 20 years-ish, or not 15, 16 years total from dating to marriage to kids and everything. I was around y'all a whole lot, and your family was very close with them. So I remember seeing you play, and I remember Luke playing, and of course James played. So how did you get into? Because you played guitar, right? Isn't that what was it? Was it bass or guitar? It seems like it was. What did you play?
Drums.
Drums. I was completely wrong. Well, that's right, because Luke played drums.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
And then I have a grandson that plays drums as well.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they're going up here to Memphis Mojo.
Okay, great.
And he's playing with them.
Well, I'm excited to see that then. I didn't realize, so I've seen the names of the bands, but I haven't seen a lot of the background on them yet. And I know, different people have had input now in trying to get different groups to come in, so I'm excited about the lineup. I won't apologize in advance. The June 4th date is one of the only ones I can't make. Austin is getting married that day.
Well, that's quite understandable.
Yeah, so I'll be on the square. He's getting married at the Civic Center.
Yeah.
But anyway, I won't be there.
Well,
but circle back. So almost 60 years. What got you into music?
Well, I don't know. I was just always, as a child, on TV, I'd always, like Lawrence Welk or whoever, I'd always watch the drums, watch the drummer. I just loved them, like that. And I remember being in the Scouts, in the Boy Scouts, and at the National Guard Armory, we would meet there a lot of times. And they had a set of drums there. I guess it had been there from some entertainment they had there. But anyway, I saw those drums, and I just said, man, that's the first time I've ever even seen a set of drums up close for real, And so anyway, I've always just been fascinated by them. I would beat on the cushions and the couch, I'd do anything like that, pots and pans, just like every other little kid drummer did, But I just always enjoyed it. And I guess in my influences would have been Sandy Nelson was a drummer, did a lot of instrumental drum work and stuff like that. And, of course, the Beatles, you know. But, I don't know, Ray Charles, with What I Say, all this, all this kind of stuff. My favorite type of music, I guess, would be soul. That's where I grew up. That's where I cut my teeth on, And but then rock and roll, of course, too. And I like a lot of the blues. I like a lot of country. When country changed from just your old country, the very simple, when Alabama started playing, and they had a rock drummer. And that's when it changed from old country to progressive country. And it just, I thought, man, I like country music now.
Do you think so I'm curious, because now I've seen backlash from people with current modern country that it sounds like pop music. It's different. So there's been another change, because you're right, that and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the old school country was kind of like storytelling, very simple. It was different. And then there was a pivot to where it was almost like, I guess, more rock based.
Yeah.
And now there's a pivot where it's pop based. So I guess my question is, because you saw that time frame, was there a lot of pushback from people saying that's not country?
Of course. Well, there long years ago when they had the Grand Ole Opry and the different things. Well, I mean, they still have it some, but there weren't any drums at all even in the music. It's like No, you don't put drums. This is country music. Do you not know what we're talking about? It's country music.
Yeah.
You don't put drums in country music. Well, that's when they started putting drums in country music a little bit. Was with what's his name? The guy from Texas, something other, and the Playboys was the name of the band. Well, they had drums in it, and it was different. But when Alabama and groups like that, they put the drums more in the front, and in equal to the other instruments, you know. And so by doing that, it changed the whole sound of it and made it a lot more interesting, especially for drummers, you know.
Yeah.
Because you could just only do so much with a ching, chick, ka-ching, chick, ka-ching, chick, you know, with the old country. That's kind of the way it sounded to me anyway. But, I mean, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate mail.
No, you're. I mean,
right there.
I think you're. So our brother Josh, which I like country music too. I like old country, and I'll be honest, I'm open minded. So some of even the new stuff I like, but our brother Josh is adamant that like it's not country, like the Florida.
I mean Justin.
I'm sorry.
My name's Josh.
Yeah, Florida Georgia line is not country.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Oh well, you know, I can understand that because I played with. I never played any country until I guess it was about '82 or so. I started playing with a group from Jackson, Tennessee, and that's what they played mostly was country. And they played a lot of old country, and I'd be.
Well, what do you consider old country? Because to me, old country is like Conway Twitty, Hank Williams,
Hank
George
Williams.
Jones.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see, Ernest Tubbs, you know, Reed guy, what's his name? Jimmy Reed, older people like that were in the, I would say, I call it older country, like in the late 30s and 40s and things like that before they really, but before music was electrified, you know, before they had the guitars. I mean, they always had like the steel guitars, things like that, but that's all part of country music, you know, steel guitar and the acoustic sound, and not a whole lot of lead work on electric guitar, stuff like that. But I don't know. I just would consider that an older type country that was just pretty much limited to 3 chords, you know, like that. And but I don't know. They the way it's come out and the way it's evolved, it's to me it's just more interesting. It's a lot. For the musicians, it's harder to play because rather than 3 chords, they got everywhere from 7 to 9 chords changes. I mean, that doesn't affect me being a drummer, of course, but I hear them complain about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, did somebody teach you drums, or did you just learn on your own?
No, it was a good friend of mine called Gary Stubblefield taught me how to play drums.
Okay. Well, you know him real well. Yeah.
But
that's interesting. You know, James, of course, Jim taught James some, but James was real musical and picked stuff up. And it's funny that some people have that aptitude for it. You know, I know you're talking about, you know, Jim's had the health issues, but to his credit, you know, he was a very good musician and very good inspiration to the kids. And so Austin, that I just mentioned, my son that did the album, he plays the guitar and can play a lot of things just by ear. Like he's able, it's just musical. And I thought Luke was like that too. For some reason, my memory, I remember now you're talking about the drums, but I thought Luke played guitar a little bit too.
No, he doesn't play. He plays the drums. He plays, he can play all kind of percussion pretty much.
Oh, one thing you mentioned I was going to tell you, and you might know who this was. When I was very young, 1920, we went to see Tony Bennett in concert.
Tony Bennett?
Yes. I personally didn't care to see Tony Bennett. It wasn't my thing at the time, but the person I took wanted to, so we went. Anyway, but what I was really impressed by that night is he had a part in one of the songs where his drummer had been Ray Charles's drummer.
Oh,
and he had a solo, and it was to this day the best drumming I have ever seen. He had I had never seen at that point like a brush. He had like this brush, and he'd be drumming and flip it over and brush and drum.
Yeah.
Man, he was very talented.
Yeah, really a good showman. Oh, you can take a lot and do a lot with brushes. I'm not that efficient with brushes. I mean, I know basically what you can do, but that's jazz. A lot of jazz uses, this is just a whole different, ball game. Jazz is from regular. Like you take a lot of rock and roll, a lot of country stuff like that. It's just what you call 4/4 timing, where your downbeats on the 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, now you take with some country that has the 3/4 timing, which is your downbeat is on the 2 and the 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, waltz beat kind of a type thing, you know. But with jazz, ooh, Lord, you got 6/8 timing, you have 7/8, you got, oh man, it's just so many different ones, and then you have it where it's a cross between 4/4 and 3/4. I mean, it gets really difficult, but they manage it well. But if you're a jazz fan, it's like you don't want to listen to anything other than jazz. But I don't. I mean, I like jazz, but the reason I don't like it as well because I can't play it.
Well, you talking about it like that makes me want to listen to it a little more because I never was a big jazz. I like blues. Listen to blues. I'm very diverse on my music interests. Like on my personal playlists, depending on my mood, I got blues, I got old country. I've been, for whatever reason, listening to Hank Williams' 11 Roses. I've been listening to that a lot. And then I'll listen to Prince. You know, it's just all over the thing.
I'm not a music snob either.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what you're talking about. If you like music, you will enjoy listening to all of it, pretty much. Now, there are some cases that I care for less than others, you know, but I'm not going to mention those because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
I understand.
You know, but it's good to have a broad spectrum of what you listen to.
Well, I came kind of full circle because as a kid, my mama and dad listened to more old country. And so as a kid, I think I identified that as what old people listened to back then, right?
Yeah.
And so I rebelled and I was listening to hip hop, rap, just as far away as I could get.
I've got 4 children. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so then now as an adult, I've come circle where I listen to a lot of the stuff they were listening to back then.
Oh, yeah. Well, my kids, because they've been around music all of their life, because I would practice in different bands a lot of times at home. And so the music that I listened to, I mean, I didn't try to force it on them by any means, but they seem to appreciate it, and that's kind of what they like now. I listen to same as old movies, you know. I like a lot of old black and white movies, and my granddaughter, I think it was Ellie. Anyway, she said, were there any color back when you lived? Was everything in black and white? Because any movies I ever seen, it's always black and white. I said, no, it's just like it is now.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you something else, and it slipped what it was. I was thinking about my kids when you said that some of the stuff they say. Because I don't even think I'm that old. You know, and like they couldn't, we were at Hobby Lobby a few weeks back with Jude. Jude's 17, my youngest. And he couldn't figure out how to use the rotary phone. And I'd never thought about it. You know, he'd never seen one. And I mean, so even with me, it was a generational difference that we had the rotary phone, you know.
Yeah.
It's so funny that it's different. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. You're talking about listening to music. So do you listen to records still, like the actual physical record? Or do you listen like most folks is digital now? Or is there a preference?
CDs.
CDs, okay.
Yeah, what I'll do is I don't really just listen to music. I mean, I do sometimes if I'm in a car. So a pretty good trip, I'll just listen to music. But what I do is be a song that I want to learn, and so I just listen to the CD.
Okay.
Put on a headset, you know, and just listen to it, play along with it until I get it, and then I'll go on to the next song or whatever like that. But yeah, CDs is mostly what I listen to, but the only reason I'm listening to it is to learn it, you know, like that. So, but as far as just sitting down and just listening to music, I usually don't that much.
Well, that's making a comeback. So I'm even thinking about doing a business around here. It's like vintage records and books and stuff.
Oh man!
And because it seems to be, it's nostalgic, and I think people like that sound now.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
You know, it's funny. They're so machine now. The sounds we listen to electronically, and it's just a little different experience when you listen to the record.
Oh, absolutely.
So
well, with I found with records, of course, you can do it with CDs. You can hit the backup thing, and you can, you know, to listen to a different part again and all like that. But the old records, they seem like they last longer than a CD. I mean, I'm not knocking CDs because I use them all the time.
Yeah.
But they'll either get trash on, or they'll get a little scratch on them, something like that, and then you might as well chunk it But with a record, a vinyl, you know, you have the needle down there and it goes across it and you hear it. But if this song gets messed up, then you just don't put it in that groove. You put it to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can choose your songs by the width of the groove in there. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
But they just seem like they last longer, and they're the album. You've got something you can see. It's like a big picture. A lot of them had the inserts.
Yeah,
in
books
them.
and stuff in them.
All kind of
It
things.
had the. This is of course pre-internet, so if you wanted to know the actual logo or we call it lyrics,
Right.
they had that was in there.
A lot of times, yeah.
There was just an experience with it. I remember being little in the '80s, and my dad would take me to Pop Tunes in Memphis because he was doing video games back then and had some games there. And I remember that being a big. I thought I was cool because it was normally like teens and 20-ish people in there because that was the cool thing is the music scene. And I was like 8 or 9. But I had a lot of albums then, a lot of vinyls. And but what's interesting is now these things have a lot of value. Like if you try to buy an original record. You're talking about not even a well-known one, $25 to $40 for that record. You know.
Oh yeah.
They're holding value. So anyway, I was just curious if you listen to any records.
Yeah. One of my daughters, I think it was Natalie, was she was dating this young guy and all. And we were talking about records like we're talking about, and I was saying this, that, and the other, and I said, well, what do you do? And he says, well, I'm kind of collecting CDs now, and I said, oh really? Hey. I was really impressed with that, and I says, "Well, on what particular kind of CDs you got? I mean, the whole time I'm thinking CDs you have in the bank, money. What I'm thinking
That's
of.
what you're thinking
and so
about.
I was really impressed
Yeah,
with him.
yeah,
I said, "Oh man, that's great." I said, "Well, how many have you got?" And he was saying like he had something like 40 something. I went, my goodness, you're going to be a billionaire by the time
they
50.
mature, huh?
But anyway, that wasn't what he was talking about. I still thought, well, he likes music, so that's good.
That's good. Yeah,
I was still impressed with him.
we could have a goal now to get him some investment CDs. It was certificates of deposit. Is that what it is?
Certificates of deposit.
Yeah, I should look at those things too. That's cool. So the music y'all are going to be playing. Have y'all got a set for the music series? Is there a set of songs y'all got set up to do?
Yeah. Well, I think the way that we'll probably do it is like we've done in the past. We'll take a couple of breaks. We'll play and take about every hour or so take a break, which will be 2 breaks during the thing, and we'll have like a set list of 12 to 15 songs in each set, like that. And we'll try to go as quickly as we can. Not always, but as quickly as we can from one song to the next, just to kind of keep it going like that. And we'll play probably a little bit more country on the square, and then at Liberty Vintage we may play a little bit more of a variety. Well, it's going to be a variety period, but I don't know. It's a little bit more. Well, I don't want to choose one venue over the other,
Sure,
or anything like that. But it's just. Probably a little bit more laid back at Liberty Vintage, but anyway, we'll just do what we do, And but like, let's see, I've been playing for 59 years this month actually, and the guitar player, I think he's a young kid. He's 71, I think, and he started in. I think it was in the 70s is when he started, so he's a newcomer,
Yeah, it's no experience.
And then the bass player, he's been playing like, he started in the 70s or so. And the youngest one is the keyboard player. He just retired last year, so he's just a kid.
Well, who's the lead vocals on it?
Bobby Butner, the guitar player from Ripley, he sings lead. The bass player, Jim Adams, he lives on the south end of the county, but I'm not sure exactly where but he sings lead as well in harmony. And then the keyboard player, Dave Stevens, plays, he sings lead and sings harmony too. So we got 3 singers. I don't sing.
I don't either, so it's okay. Don't feel bad.
Does
Miss Sharon? What I used to do was dance. Though is Miss Sharon the backup dancer? Is she?
Oh yeah.
She got y'all covered in her fedoras. Yeah. And congratulations to y'all too, because I know you probably had some play in that on supporting her. She was Volunteer of the Year.
Oh yeah. I was real proud of her.
Yeah.
She works hard. That's the way she is. She goes at something. She goes 100%. I mean, she says, I'm not going to do it if I can't put all I got into it. You know, I'm just do the
She's a
best
super
I can.
sweet lady. And then, so you, of course, James and I are partnered at the Cellar. And she came to me because I'm the face. I do the branding marketing for it. So a lot of people think, and I am very involved in it, but it's not like I'm there every day. But anyway, she came to me when they were developing the sponsorships for this and was talking about the Cellar. And I'm like, look, really James is managing it. You really need to talk to James. And I said, also, he loves you. He loves all y'all. And I knew knew she would have more sway on getting, because we all have to vote on that stuff, getting that approved than just me. So he likes her a whole lot.
Well, you do what you got to do to get things done.
Exactly.
I understand perfectly with that. Oh, absolutely.
And she wears the fedoras all the time. Do you wear the fedoras?
No, I'm more of a cap.
A cap, okay. Yeah.
Dude, it's kind of the, I'm not sure exactly. It's kind of like a cap that they would wear back in the 30s and the 20s and the 30s. It's got the bill.
I know what
comes
you're talking
all the way
about. It's
down.
like a snapback looking thing.
Yeah,
It's like the old, I say old, it's like a golfer looking.
With the Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, the Peaky, he probably doesn't know what that is, but the Peaky Blinders look. There's a series called Peaky Blinders, and it's got like the button on top, and it's.
Yeah, it's like little panels on the top of the hat. It's like some of them have 7 or 8, little squared out.
Let me ask you this, because,
like
and I don't mean to be offensive though. How old are you?
I'm 13 this year. No, I'm 74. Be 74.
74. When you were little, did the men wear hats?
Yeah, some they did, but
So you were born in 48?
48.
48. I was curious. The reason I ask you is, and this is a complete sidebar, but the Cellar, part of the way the idea developed for the 20s theme is I'm a huge fedora fan.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
I like
hats.
fedoras.
Oh, they're good hats.
I think that if you're a very confident man, you can wear whatever, really.
Right.
But, a fedora, I think, is stylish, and I was curious as to why it fell out of fashion.
I don't know. It's used to, like on Sundays. If you went to church on Sundays, when I was a child, you wore a suit. I mean, even the little kids, 10, 12 years old, they wore a suit. Men wore a suit. They wore hats and everything. It was like that was just the way it was, And I think as things got lax later, when people started wearing shorts and T-shirts and things like that more, the hats just kind of fell aside as the suits did. It's just kind of it was more of a relaxed mood than the very, stiff. I don't know stiff exactly, but
More formal.
Yeah, it was less formal, and it weren't as you just weren't as expected as much out of you like that. That's not a bad.
Well, some of the research that I did, it looked like it was 2 main driving factors. Because in the 30s and the 40s, everybody wore the hat, and then you get into like the 50s and the 60s. One issue was the young people didn't want to be just like all generations, didn't want to be like the old folks.
Right,
and the old folks wore the hat, so they were styling their hair back and all that. So that was one thing, one article I read. Another one was that the development of the automobile, as it became more common, where everybody had it, it was less common. You didn't have the space necessarily to wear that hat in there.
Right.
And so that was another thing that influenced it. But I think you're right. I think part of it was it just sort of fell out of fashion as society evolved up.
Yeah, well, they changed. Things. As the generations die out, you lose a lot of that tradition. You know?
Sir.
And as they have the newer ideas for the newer children, just like we came along as the hippies, and I mean we were totally rebellious about everything, but it's always the same. Nothing's new under the sun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so it's just I don't know. They just got tired of. People started wearing a lot more ball caps and things like that, and it's just I guess a ball cap replaced the fedora or the any type of hat that people wore, because like on Sundays, like I go back to that with the suits on Sunday evening or Sunday night worship service, it was less formal, so people may not wear a tie. They still had the suit on, but it was a few people that didn't wear a tie. But there was still a lot that held on to that tradition. They were wearing a tie and everything. I guess they probably dressed. Well, people dressed to go to to dinners and things like that. You always dressed up. Even I was as a young kid. When we would go out to dances or different things, we wore ties and suits. We just dressed up a lot. I don't know. I don't think it was an ego thing. That's just the way it was, a style. You just wanted to fit in, so you dressed like everybody else.
Yeah.
And then it slowly fell off, and so everybody wanted to be alike. They didn't want to wear a tie when you could wear a turtleneck instead, or whatever. It's just. Are
you born and raised here?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you probably knew our dad then. My dad is around your age. He's 72. He went to Byers Hall. Jerry Edwin Mason. He's a little bit bigger than the two of us.
Let's see. Didn't he have the meat market?
No, that's Jeff. So that's my uncle.
Oh, okay.
So his younger brother, it was Jimmy. Jimmy, his older brother, who is, I think Jimmy's working on 80. And my daddy's 72. And then Jeff is, I think he's the baby. And then Alice is in the middle. She's Alice Pegg now. That was the kids. And then his daddy was J.B. Mason and Dorothy Mason. Lived out off the Mount Lebanon area. But anyway, he's right around the same age. He's born and raised around here. He did in the 80s, he had Jerry's Amusement Company. He did vending machines, video games, all that.
Oh, okay.
And then that was awesome in the 80s until Nintendo came out. Then Nintendo came out and it hurt that business, and he started working at Quebecor.
Oh, okay.
And that's what he did up till recently. Well, I say recently, till he retired.
It was 2009, I think, 2008. Yeah.
What was the company that your dad worked for? Was that Foresight or?
He did work for Foresight. Sure did. Yeah, that was back early 80s.
Yeah, I remember.
And then he was my Uncle Albert Utes.
I probably have seen him. I'm sure I have.
Yeah. Well, I just figured y'all around the same age, probably in the same running group. But well, Mr. Gary, I've always thought a lot of your family. Your kids have been great examples for y'all. They're good people, very nice people. And then I see you and your wife walking around the community and always helping out.
She's my best friend.
Yeah, well, that's great though, and that gives hope, I think, to a lot of the rest of us, because relationships are rough, man. I guess we can finish with that. What would be a piece of advice? Because y'all been married how long?
51 years.
51 years.
Be 52 in December.
Man, some people can't even spell 50. So what's the secret then? I know everybody asks, but what's the secret?
It's not hard at all. She tells me what to do, I do it, and we get along fine.
Okay, well, that's my problem.
It's not hard at all.
That's my problem then, because I need to do it better. My wife does. It's different now. Younger people, I think, in relationships, and it's definitely different than it was then. Back I've talked about this with other people before, and it's not a knock on age, but before the internet, it was much, much more difficult to think that some of the things it was easy to give up. I mean, it's easier now to give up. It's easier now to quit. People just quit. Back then, if stuff got hard, you stuck it out,
Yeah.
And now I think the internet has really changed that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so much easier to find somebody else you think might be better. The grass is greener over here.
Oh, well, the internet is just, for a musician, it is just wonderful. Because before, if you wanted to learn a song, if you didn't have the money or if you did want a record store or something around to buy this particular song, you had to try to catch it on the radio. And a lot of times on the front end of a song, if you're trying to learn how the front end went,
missed it.
Well, they're gonna be talking the whole time.
That's true.
Almost halfway through the song, and then you miss it, and so it would take you quite a while to try to learn the song. What you would do is you'd wind up just making it your own song and just kind of doing what you say. Well, I think I know this lick, and it'll fit in there. So like that, and you wind up like that's not the way that song goes. But with YouTube and all, you look it up and just find any song in the world. So
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's no reason at all not to know the song.
Yeah, I was telling my kids how when I was a kid in the 80s, we didn't have, if you had the record, great. But a lot of times you would have a dual tape deck and try to catch the radio song and record it, and you would have a cut together tape that you had made of different songs you liked to mix. That was the only way to mix them. And you would literally wait on the radio and run it over there and try to record it when it came on. And it's just, again, it sounds like old people talking, but they don't understand the convenience they have now of just pull the song up and play it.
Well, not just music. If you want to know how to fix something, you can look it up on the internet, and it'll tell you, you get anything just about how to work on or fix or to do the best way to do it or something like that. Because anything you want to know, it's no reason not to know anything just about, because it's there. You just got to look it up, you know.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you spending the
I
time
have
with us this
enjoyed it.
morning.
I
I really enjoyed talking with you.
Well, I
and
appreciate
I'm
it.
looking forward to hearing you guys too.
Well, thank you. We're trying. We've got a couple of more practices together.
I understand. Cool.
And so can be nerve wracking, but I love it. So it's all part of it.
Yeah, well, I think people feel when you're passionate about something. I think when you perform, people can feel that. So
it goes over.
It'll be good.
If you smile, everybody thinks you're doing fine.
Yeah, I say that to both in the martial arts world and in the legal world, that if you mess up, as long as you don't look like you messed up, nobody knows.
No, you think you meant to do it.
Yeah, they think it was intentional. Hey, Josh, let me see that schedule again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so there we go. We got the Covington Downtown Music Series, which starts May 21st. And again, it's multiple hours of music each of those Saturdays. It starts at the courthouse lawn on the Covington Square, and then at Liberty Vintage Stage, it's from 7 to 10. Courthouse Square is 4 to 7, and you see the different ones. Now, this is probably going to air the week of the June 4th one, because that's when the New Generation Band's going to play. So hopefully you guys will have, by the time you see this, you will have already have enjoyed some of the music up there on the Covington Square. And so I do want to remind you to like, subscribe, follow our content. We are on all podcast platforms, all social media platforms. You can watch playbacks on YouTube of the podcast, as well as listen to those on those other platforms. And we are on TikTok. We'll skip ahead a little quicker, Josh. And then the Covington Comic Con is August 20th and 21st. Hopefully you guys will join us. If you're interested in vendor information, ticket information, sponsorship information, let us know. And then Michelle Allen, of course, is my favorite sponsor right now. And she is your go-to for buying, selling, renting, leasing real estate here in this area. And I'm sure she could help you anywhere. Mason's High Octane Martial Arts has been going for almost 30 years in Covington, and it's we're fixing to move locations. Actually, by the end of the year, we'll be at a new built-out, real fancy location here in town. Anyway, and the Cellar Restaurant Prohibition Bar is located off the square here in Covington. And if you need any digital marketing assistance, Josh Mason with Mason Knight Marketing will help you. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch us, and please make sure you go out and see these folks. There's a lot of people that are working real hard to make this downtown music series a success, and really all you got to do is show up. It costs you nothing. Just come out, show up, and enjoy an evening of good music here in Covington. So we'll see you guys later. Keep kicking. Thanks for watching, guys. Just remember that this is not legal advice or investment advice or business advice. This is for fun and entertainment purposes only.